are the custodian of Spatial Data Infrastructure Act, which establishes the South African Spatial Data Infrastructure. My core responsibility is on data governance, as well as building platforms that allows the sharing of data in the country. We want a geospatial information-driven decision-making that supports planning and service delivery in support of government actions as well as international priorities. We need to start having an agile process of developing policies, especially policies that aligns to geospatial technology and application. So there are a lot of possibilities. If you look at self-driving vehicles, you just know that that cannot be possible without accurate geospatial information, as well as high resolution imagery that will support these new innovations that are coming. Now I'm speaking on behalf of the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. So during COVID, we were tasked by the President to provide support to farmers, subsistence farmers or upcoming farmers. So one of the key challenges was locating where these farmers are, as well as verifying whether they are actually farmers in that specific area. So what we did was develop a technology which we call PESI, using ArcGIS platform and Survey 123, and then we deploy it, and then we ask farmers to basically capture their information in their farms, and then we use imagery to verify if actually that farm is actually a farm or not. And then we also have on a regular basis, our Department of Agriculture, they are collecting field crop boundaries that actually assisted us in knowing exactly that people are actually doing farming in a particular area. So there are many applications. I'm just highlighting that because it's one of the areas which I think when people see us in the country as the department, they always remember that we were there for them in the time of need. And through that support, we were able to make sure that farmers survive during the COVID pandemic. We worked with a mobile communication company, which assisted us in doing filling those forms using SMSs, which made it very easy for us because everyone has a phone. Majority of the people has a phone. So we use their platform to be able to get information as quick as possible, and it allows us to validate that information quickly. We are not yet there yet in terms of using advanced technologies, your blockchain and other technologies that are coming, but we hope in the future we'll be able to use some of these technologies to advance the different interests that we have in the country. If you look at the Gini coefficiency inequality index, you will see that as a country, we are one of the most unequal country. And then it comes with a long history that we have of apartheid or spatial segregation. And then we are now starting to use geospatial information to be able to focus our government efforts on areas that were previously deprived, just to find ways to integrate them in the economy of the country going to the future. But it's not an easy task, especially changing a system that was built for many years. But through the use of geospatial technology, we are able, for instance, to say, let's put our budget or our funding as the public sector and target areas that were highly impacted by some of the decisions of the past. And then we are seeing some changes and some impact in the application of geospatial information. In the last audit report, majority of the land is in the hands of the few people in the country. And I think this is a challenge that our country is seeking to address aggressively so, but also cautiously. And then one of the strategies, and I think this is something that is being discussed, is to try and see on how we can secure the rights, especially for people that are living in the former rural areas, because those are the people who are sitting on a portion of land, but without any security in that portion of land, meaning that anything at any given time can happen. And then the other challenge is that without security, you are also unable to obtain economic benefits of your ownership of that specific land. For instance, you can't take up a bond and put it as a trustee, or put that land as a form of security to the bank, that if I don't bring your money back, you can take my land and sell it and get your money back. So this is something I think as a country we are still in discussion of, to try and see how we secure land, especially in the rural areas. One of the great discussions that I have, I think yesterday, is from a person from Ghana who told me that he has done a study on how to use drones, and then how you can actually use drones imagery and then to be able to survey land and be able to demarcate at an accuracy of 10%, demarcate 10 centimeter, and be able to demarcate the different boundaries which are registrable in the country where he did that survey. So for me, I think that is something that we as a country going to take into consideration and see on how we can apply drone information or high resolution information as another way to survey the different properties, because doing the actual survey, appointing a land surveyor to do the actual survey, it costs a lot of money, and that's money that we do not have as a country currently, and we can use it for other things. For instance, upgrading the informal settlements or removing the bucket toilet system. So we have a lot of competing priorities that we need to address. And if we can find technologies that will make sure that we minimize on the expenditure for our efforts, then as a country, I think we greatly welcome those initiatives. We do not have a digital transformation strategy. That is clear. We don't have something like that. We do have policy statements that are made by our leaders, but you would know that without a formal strategy on how you can be able to roll out certain things, it becomes difficult to implement those strategies. The issue around diversity yesterday was very critical. You know, how we start including, creating maps that blind people can be able to read, you know. And this is something that we always miss, you know, things like how do we start creating products as GIS professionals that will talk to different user groups